listeners, welcome to Off Over 50 and Fired Up. Now what? With Linda
and Shelley.
So last episode we talked about dealing with the emotions of career changes. Now we're going to dive into franchising, which can be a way to change your career path and become an entrepreneur. But before we get started on our episode on franchising, Shelley, what's your wine recommendation?
For this episode?
Yes.
Okay, it's a lovely Italian wine. Since I just got back on vacation, I was overindulging there.
Yeah, so while you were out there, I was stuck here working like a dog on our podcast. I hope you had a nice time.
I had a lovely time. It was wonderful.
I'm sure
I really
you did.
From what I can remember.
Great. All those wineries, right? All those glasses of wine tastings?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the wine show?
It's called Il Fano I can't do it. Il Fano di Aranum, a nice Toscana blend.
Okay, you might want to try the name of the wine again for our listeners so they actually know what it is.
Il Fano di Arcanum.
Wow, Shelley, you really brushed up on your Italian in that 4 seconds that we had.
Yes, I did. And I can also tell you a little bit more about the wine, Linda. It's a really smooth wine with an incredible finish. I learned a little bit while I was away. It's named for the ancient statue. It's a half man and half goat, which stands up as a protector.
Well then,
salute!
So let's get to the handoff discussion part of our podcast on franchising. You know, Shelley, why consider franchising?
Well, I think, Lynn, it's a proven model, right? For some of us who are over 50, we might want to start businesses, but it can be a little scary. And I think franchising can offer a way to do that. The nice thing about franchising, from my perspective, is that you can really tap into somebody else's expertise.
That's true, you can. And I think the other thing that it offers, not only the expertise, Shelley, but also that whole structure. And so if you're coming from corporate America, which a lot of people over 50 are, they're very used to having that structure and that support. You have everything there that you can tap into to be successful. And it's the same thing for a franchise, right? They're going to give you and have worked out like all the finances. They're going to give you training, marketing plans, all that stuff. So if you've worked your entire career within that kind of structure, franchising actually may be something that's comfortable for you, that you can relate to and that you can be successful in.
Yeah, you just got to come with the money, right?
You just have to come with the money. That's right. That's what franchises are all about. Sometimes they don't really care about your background. That's the great thing, Shell. If you're really interested in getting into something new, the franchise doesn't care what your background is. All they care about is if you can bring them the money.
Show me the money.
That's right. That's all they care about. So while we were doing this, we also looked at researching and looking online for some things. We found a great article by Jessica Kalmar called Franchising 101. What should you do before you buy on lawdepot.com?
Yeah, it's a really, in this article, it's really cool because Jessica highlights how franchising can really be a good way to start your own business without doing it from scratch.
Right. It's a really good thing so you can get support from a franchise company. You're not going it alone. You're not feeling really scared about being out there doing something you've never done before. You've got some support.
So, Linda, some people might not know what the heck a franchise is. So tell us a little bit more.
It's pretty simple. It's really getting an authorization from an existing business, and they're going to give you the ability to sell their services and products. There are typically a lot of requirements around the franchisor that they need to meet and comply with to be able to use or sell the brands and the products.
Hey, Lynn, do you remember the movie, The Founder, about Ray Kroc and how McDonald's got started?
Yeah, I did, actually. I did watch it. I actually just watched it recently.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
And I thought it was really cool how it showed the positives and the negatives of franchising.
I did, but, it bothered me a little bit because he really screwed the McDonald brothers very much, because they were the ones who originally created the concept. They developed the whole productivity model that the McDonald's restaurant is based on. And they had the actual first restaurant. So I didn't think he was the greatest person. I thought he was kind of a nasty person anyway. And made sure that he was the one that profited and not the person who really originated the idea. But he did show how important it was that the person buying the actual franchise really needed to believe in the vision and the brand and the product. And they really had to dedicate themselves to the franchise. That's the one thing that the movie did kind of portray.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Ray, you clearly showed the difference between if you're strictly just an investor who wants just the money versus being passionate about the business and wanting to really embrace the vision and drive the brand.
Yeah, so having that kind of personal connection with the business and sharing the vision, you really need to have to make it successful. So now McDonald's now has 36,000 restaurants all over the world in over 100 countries since they started.
Yeah, and that was back in the 1950s,
Yeah,
right?
1950s.
Yeah, but you know what, Lynn? There's a lot more than just McDonald's. In fact, there's over 700,000 franchises in the U.S., and actually, over the last 10 years, that number's been relatively stable. And that's all been based on Statista.com.
So the interesting part when we're doing some of that research is that some of the most profitable franchises in the U.S., which we found on smallbiztrends.com, it was how much of a range there was, right, in them. It wasn't all about just fast food, right? There were other things that were making money.
What were the other things?
Well, okay, I have to say, in 2018, the top one was a fast food. It was Wingstop. But the next few were really interesting. It was like 1 hour air conditioning and heating, Pearl Vision, Miracle Air.
What? I can't hear you.
Thanks, Shell. It's a good plug for Miracle Air.
Yeah, a far cry from a burger and shake. Nice to see the variety, and that means that there are a lot more options that really you can line up with your passion areas.
Right. So you can I would definitely check the top 25 most profitable franchises on that site, on the website, on smallbiztrends.com. But also, the one thing that I really liked, it also gave you all these investment ranges. So if you want something that's less than $10,000, less than $20,000, or even just a few $100s, you can find franchises for that range.
Yeah, and I really like the idea, Linda, that there's a website out there that I've kind of tapped into quite a bit just to kind of look around. It's called franchisedirect.com. And I like it because it tells you about what's new in terms of franchising, what's available within different categories, price ranges, like you said, in terms of the investment ranges. And you just click on what you're interested in. They can send you a whole bunch of information. And it doesn't mean that you have to really, do anything. There's no commitment. You're just getting information.
So when you're on that site, I know you've spent a lot more time on it. I really haven't been interested in looking at a franchise, but I know you've been kind of dabbling to see whether or not you'd be interested in something. So what are some of the things that the site talks about, like, that you should consider?
For me, I thought it was because there were some really cool categories, and I thought, I know nothing about them, so why not tap into somebody's expertise?
Yeah, so basically you can lower your risk, right? Because they already have a proven business model, and they can give you the support that you need to be able to succeed, and so you can be successful, right? And the franchise is only successful if you're successful. So you're going to have someone who's going to be helping you along, coaching you, training you, all that stuff. Yeah. So that's the good part of it.
Yeah, that is the good part. But there is also a flip side, right? There are royalties and franchise fees and startup costs that go along with franchising.
Yeah, but Jill, I mean, with any business, you have startup costs. Like we had it in our consulting business. So how bad can it be for those royalties and fees?
Well, it can be from anywhere really bad, like McDonald's, where you go from hundreds of thousands of dollars, right, to, something maybe smaller, like we saw with mobilestamp.com or whatever it was. It's only a $149 investment. Or Baby Boot Camp, where you're putting in $5,000 to $6,000.
Right. So there's really a great range of options that can match any person's investment capabilities and their business interests. So that's great. And now when I was looking on that site for the different types of franchises available, I was really interested in that cruise planners franchise where you have a home-based travel agency, because I love to travel, and I know you do too, Shelley.
And I also love to stay home.
You do. That's a great combo for you. Stay at home and travel.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my faves on that site, which I was laughing about, was Rugby Tots.
Rugby Tots?
Yeah. Get a franchise on Rugby Tots.
Yes, that's the one. I really want to promote toddlers roughing it up by learning rugby. That was crazy how they went it was one of the most profitable franchises out there.
Under $10K.
Under $10,000, right.
Well, it just proves that there's something out there for everybody, right? But, what are some other downsides that there may be besides the royalties and the fees? Are there other stuff that,
Yeah, so Linda, you're right. There are some things that, you have to give up, right? And so those things are things like creativity and autonomy. You have to abide by the rules, and not all of us like to abide by rules. I'm one of those people, I really don't like that fact, but I'll do it. You have to think about, rules around branding and advertising and new products that could be launched or not launched. Anything that really supports the business really comes from the franchisor.
So does the franchisor, allow you to give feedback? Like, is it just all one way?
No, I mean, I think you can submit your ideas, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're going to be, accepted, but you can submit them.
See, I think I'd be bothered by that because I'm a real control freak.
You?
Yes,
really?
me.
I'm surprised.
So, for me, I'm not quite sure if I kept giving feedback and then I couldn't influence them and get some control back into how the business actually operated, I think I would have a hard time with it. Even though I know it's lower risk to me, I think I would be bothered by it. That I would be able to lose control over things like who are my suppliers or when I can renovate, or even if I wanted to branch out into a new location. I wouldn't feel comfortable that wouldn't be under my control. That'd be somebody else up there telling me what to do.
You mean the little power monger that you are?
That's right. That's right. All and powerful. No. But I think I would be bothered. I would not be happy working with those kind of constraints. So I don't think it would be something for me because I'd be very frustrated by that. How about you? Do you think you would get frustrated by it?
Yes and no. I'm kind of like on the fence. I like the idea of getting that expertise. And I don't mind having some rules and regulations. I guess it all depends on which type of franchising you're looking at and how much, how much the loss of control is for you.
Right. So, I mean, you really have to go in with your eyes open. You have to really understand the good with the bad on these things.
Yeah, so it's important to do your homework, right?
It really is important to do your homework.
Yep.
And, of course, you can do some of that homework by going onto our website and looking at our reference materials that we've provided everyone on www.over50andfiredup.com.
And don't forget, you can also get our wine recommendations too.
That's right. And also give us your feedback and stories by going to our website and clicking on Contact Us. You can email us at offnowwhat@gmail.com, or you can comment on our Twitter or LinkedIn sites.
And please remember to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn.
So, thanks for listening. Bye.